Hello everyone, it's Brightmaster here, and today I have an amazing LEGO set to review. This is the 6085 Black Monarchs Castle from 1988. This set comes with 702 pieces, was rated for ages 8 to 12, and cost you $68 back when it was in stores. Now this is seen as one of the legendary castles from the 80s, and I have to say that this is an amazing set, and is definitely my favorite 80s castle. So this comes with an army of minifigures and it's a pretty nice castle build as well. Very nice, actually. And it has some pretty neat functions that I'd like to show you, so let's look at the instructions to be the first part of the review. Alright, so here are the instructions that come in the set. You can see they're quite large, and this is a larger set, so it makes sense. And as you can see that they are quite well loved, and you can see that some of the pages have become loose from the binding, but that's fine. This is a 30-year-old set, so I'm actually quite happy the instructions are here at all. So it comes with a total of 24 pages, including the back, so not many pages, but they usually have 4 large steps of building per 2 pages, so that's quite nice. And you can also see that there are no boxes that tell you what pieces you need for each step, but it requires you to pay attention, so that's nice. And strangely enough, here on the front of the instruction booklet, it comes with a picture of one of the alternate builds, which is something I've never had before. And I do kind of think it is better that they have it on the back, but I don't know. I think it looks interesting. It's an interesting alternate build. It looks like it's some sort of arch within a very large castle or something, but yeah, I do prefer the original model itself, so now we'll look at the many minifigures that come in this set. So here are the minifigures that come in this set. There are a total of 12, so you basically get a small army. So I've arranged these minifigures in an order. So you have the riders here at the front, the spear and axemen in the middle, and the archers in the back row. And I'll go ahead and show you most of these minifigures individually, but there are quite a few repeats when it comes to minifigures, which really doesn't bother me because it's great that you get an army, which is something you do not get in modern castles at all, or at least a somewhat modern one. So right here is a Black Knight, which makes you think that this might be the Black Monarch, but I honestly think that the Black Monarch could be a ghost, because there is this other set called the Black Monarch's Ghost, which is quite interesting. So who knows, it could be this knight, or it could be the ghost. So it's an interesting theory. But anyway, this is what this knight looks like. He's most likely the one here who's in charge, because he has one of these plastic capes that were used for this time period, and I think that they are okay. I do prefer the cloth capes more to these, because I think that they actually look more like capes. But this is fine nonetheless. And I have to say that he has some pretty nice armor printing right there. And he has a pretty nice shield with these nice dragon coat of arms. And he has a nice plume here at the top of his helmet. And overall a nice minifigure. As you can see, he has the classic smiling face, and of course, this was the only face available at this time. And as you can see here at the top, he doesn't have the 3 slits. Look, it looks like it's cut into thirds. And yeah, that's what the minifigures used to look like then. I think he's a very nice looking knight. And right over here, we have this other knight, who's also a rider. And as you can see, he has the same print layout as the last knight, but he of course has a blue torso, probably his blue fabric on his clothing, and he has some red sleeves, and of course he has his nice sword and shield just like the knight before, and has some blue pants with black belt printing, and he has a yellow plume as well with a gray helmet. Gotta be careful I don't knock all these minifigures down. And right over here we have this other knight, who is also quite nice. He's also a rider, of course, and he has, of course, the same shield, the same helmet, red color plume, and some red pants with black belt printing. So he is a little bit different than the last one. And as for this last knight right here, who's also the last rider, he's a combination of the other two. So he has the same blue legs, blue pants with black belt printing, but he does have a different colored torso. So it's red with blue sleeves instead of the last one that had red sleeves and a blue torso. And he has a yellow plume as well, so there is a bit of variation. Not much, it's a bit subtle, but it's variation nonetheless, which is always something I appreciate in LEGO sets. I always like it when they try to change things up a little bit. So I'm going to move these 4 minifigures out of the way. Again, I got to be careful I don't knock them all over. So I'll show you those later once they get on their horses, but here are the other minifigures. As you can see, these are the Spearmen and the men who have axes. So the Spearmen and the Axemen, they're both the same. So I'll go ahead and show you one of each. So here's one of the Spearmen, has the same shield as the riders before him. And he has, of course, his wooden spear. He has this black helmet, which looks really nice, that, of course, goes by his nose and protects the side of his head. He has some nice chainmail armor right here that looks like scales. And overall, he's a very nice looking minifigure. And yeah, he's pretty simple, but nonetheless looks quite good. Over here we have one of the Axemen, and he looks identical to the Spearman, except he has an axe, so there's not that much of a difference, but his weapon makes him a whole different minifigure, really. So, yeah, a nice wooden axe that he has there. And now I'll remove these minifigures so I can show you them on the castle later on. And now we have the archers, which are all identical to each other, and so I'll only have to show you one. So this right here is the archer minifigure, and he has a wooden bow and arrow, and he has a quiver of arrows here on the back, so all he has to do is grab them and put them on the quivers, on the bow, so he can fire them. Has the same chainmail armor that the Axemen Spearman had, except he has a blue shirt underneath instead of the red one. And he has this really nice helmet that's the old dark gray, and unfortunately they don't make these helmets anymore. I don't understand why. I thought they were great, so yeah, maybe we can get LEGO to bring those back. But anyway, those are it. That's basically it for the minifigures. So here are the 4 trusty steeds, and they all look quite nice. Some of them even have some of the covering for decoration, I guess. And of course, the riders each get their own horse. So this Black Knight gets this horse right here, very elegant looking. Here, next, this knight gets this horse right here, which also has some of the... I forgot what these were called. They have a specific name, so write down in the comments. I guess I'm forgetting some of my medieval knowledge. Of course, that's not a good thing, but please remind me in the comments if you can. This knight gets this horse, and this knight gets this one. So these 4 knights look great on their horses, look quite intimidating, look quite really epic, really. Riding into battle, these knights would look amazing. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that, and I'll just pose them differently, just to show you what it looked like if they're all coming at you. So it's a pretty nice look that they have there. So now we'll look at the actual castle. So here is the Black Monarch's castle itself. It's a really nice looking build, and you can see it looks kind of closed for the moment. It looks different than it did in the thumbnail, but it's all closed up using some peg pieces, so I'll show you how you can open it. So if you go back here, you can see that everything here, there's a slit here in the middle. So what you do is you just open this up. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but yeah, that's what it looks like, and of course you can pull this out, so it looks quite nice. And over here you can see that there is a drawbridge as well, and of course it looks massive now with these two other walls pulled out. And how you open the drawbridge is quite simple but really nice. And what you do is you can see that there's this wooden, looks like wood, a wheel right here. It's brown. What you do is you push it this way, you rotate it forward, and that is how the drawbridge opens. And it opens quite nicely, not easily. Of course, it's a string piece, and you have to tie it with enough friction that it will pull or drop it, which is, of course, something that might take a little bit. And that was probably the most frustrating thing with this, is that I kept having to tie and retie this, but it worked out in the end. I'm certainly happy with it, and that's what it looks like now. Quite nice. And as you can see, there is a portcullis as well, and it's also attached by a string, and they have this black 1x2 Technic piece, and what you do is you just pull it, and the portcullis opens, and you can attach it somewhere back here just to keep it open, so your knights can ride in. So I think that's really nice, and now I'm going to show you the interior of the castle. So here is the back of the Black Monarchs castle, and I decided to put all the minifigures in their battle positions, which I thought would look quite nice and would make it look a bit more realistic, I guess. And of course there's so much room to put minifigures here, so if you have other Black Knight sets and you want to put the other knights in here, of course there is a lot of room. As you can see over here in the gatehouse, there is this little bridge over here connecting both sides of this gatehouse, both sides, so you can easily run from that side to that side if one of the sides is getting attacked and you want to get all your men over there. And as you can see, there are some clips here to put some of the weapons. They can be used for actual use, or you can display them showing your strength as the Black Monarch, and they have some nice banners up here. And over here you can see there's not much, and in one way I do wish that they might have included some yellow pieces for hay or something here, or a place to put a wagon, but honestly I think in one way it's good because you can put a lot of minifigures there, or you can customize it yourself. There's a lot of customizability or potential for that in this set, which is something that's quite nice. And over here you can see there's this prison area, which uses one of those really old doors. So what you can do is you can just open it up like that. The prison is quite large and somewhat spacious, so you're not too cramped while you're in there, and at least you get a window to look out. It's not all that dreary. I've seen worse prisons before in Lego sets, so yeah, I think it's a pretty nice area. And of course the towers are pretty simple, and you can't really put a minifigure in there because there's a lot of tiles from these tower pieces. But here on the top, of course, you can place a minifigure just like this archer right here, and I think it's a pretty spacious area. And of course he can climb here on the top area if he wants to go ahead and get a shot at one of the enemy soldiers. So overall I think that the interior of this set is quite nice, and if you can see as well, something that's not really related to this set in this review, but something you can do if you have other Black Monarchs castle sets, or you have another Black Knights building, is you can attach them by connecting them to these peg pieces or to these peg hole pieces, so you can extend them. So if you have another Black Monarchs castle, or you have other Black Knights buildings, you can do that. So now I'm going to show you what this castle looks like at the front with all the minifigures. So this is what all the minifigures look like on the Black Monarchs castle, and I think they all look really nice. And this is a very highly fortified area, and is quite a strong looking area that's highly defended, and just looks like a really strong force for evil, because the Black Knights are supposed to be evil. So I think these are considered to be the main enemy of the time, so yeah, they are quite a formidable opponent. But anyway, this will tie into my overall thoughts on the set. So I really like this set a lot. I think it's great. It has some really nice printed pieces, of course, as you can see. on the walls, and it comes with an army of minifigures, which is something you will not be able to get in a modern castle set. And yeah, this is one of the reasons why I should get it. Another reason is I think it's the biggest castle of the 80s, so if you want to get a castle from that time period, get this one. And when it comes to how much I'd pay for this, I would say you should pay around $160 or less for it. I saw on brickset.com, it said, oh, pay $204 or something like that or more. No, just pay $160 or less. Do not pay too much for this. It's nice, but it doesn't come with that many features inside of it, so yeah, I wouldn't overpay for this at all. So yeah, $160 or less is what I'd pay. If you get it for that, it's a joy. It's amazing. It's definitely one of my favorite medieval sets that I have, and it's definitely my favorite castle from the 80s. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you all later. Bye.